Okay, so we are beginning with the next topic today, which is attention, right?
स्पीकिंग मैम।
Yes.
मैम हमने कौन कौन से टॉपिक ऑलरेडी कवर कर लिए हैं इसके अंदर, इस सब्जेक्ट
So
के अंदर?
I have covered learning and memory. There must be 5 lectures on learning and 3 on memory.
ओके मैम।
So are my slides visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we have to cover attention, and the syllabus says we have to learn forms of attention and models of attention. Okay, so generally questions on attention are from models of attention or theories of attention. Okay, so let us begin with learning the definitions of attention, knowing how what different psychologists have to say about it. First, we have William James, who said that attention is taking possession of the mind and in clear and vivid forms. And they are because there are several trains of thoughts, so we have to take control on one, and which should be in very clear and vivid form. So it says, William James said that we need to withdraw from certain things so that we can deal effectively with others. Right? So, for example, while presenting, I am also doing some other task. When I am doing this other task, my attention happens to switch forth between the two tasks. So, if I am supposed to focus on this lecture, it is important for me to switch off the other task so that I can deal with giving an effective presentation. This is what is meant by attention according to William James, right? Two basic keywords: we are taking possession of the mind in clear and vivid forms, and it involves withdrawal from some things in order to deal effectively with others. Then another definition says it is the means by which we actively process a limited amount of information from enormous amount of information that is available through our senses. So at each point in time, we always have more information than our senses process. We have more amount of information. We have more amount of information available, but we select only a limited amount of information for that cognitive processing, right? And this is the almost all the definitions come to this, that selectively focusing on a particular thing and ignoring the others or withdrawal from the others so that we can bring one thing into our conscious awareness, right? Again, as we see the last definition by Carver and Schuler, they also said that attention can be thought of as the bridge over which parts of the external world. So we have an external world, and we have to focus on the selective aspects, right? Selectively focusing on aspects, and so that we can regulate our own behavior. right? This is what the attention says.
मैडम सोना रानी बोल रही हैं कि उन्हें पीपीटी विजिबल नहीं है।
Okay, let me ask her. Sona, you are not able to see the PPT, but I think others are able to see the PPT. So either you log in again or wait for some time, right? I'll operate the PPT
Yes,
again.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm operating.
Yes,
I'm
मैं फिर से लॉग इन करके देखती
ठीक है, मैं एक और बार प्रेजेंट करके देख लेती हूँ if it works for us. Okay. Sona, is it visible now? Okay, she has left the meeting. So Schauer and Schuler, they said that we can think attention as a bridge. So attention as a bridge over which some parts of the external world and are focused upon. So here we have an external information, but only some parts of it would be acting as the bridge, which will be attention, and we'll focus on certain bits of information from this whole world. So it will regulate our own behavior. So as you are attending the lecture, if you are doing it truly and sincerely and authentically, and you're not engaged in any other task, then you are trying to selectively focus on the on this PPT. And what I am saying, you are selectively focusing on switching off the other things that other information that is available to you. So there must be a lot of things around your environment which will have some information and which may be competing to enter your attentional senses, right? But since you're here for a purpose, you are deliberately paying attention to what is being done and you are withdrawing from other areas. So that is what attention means. So let us look at this diagram. It says that we have sensations. We have sensations which are being registered. Then we have some memories that we have available with us. Then the certain thought processes, and all these information is competing to enter into our attention, to become the focus of our attention. Okay, so it can be done by controlled processes and automatic processes which can lead to certain actions, right? Which can lead to certain actions. So you have controlled processes where you are deliberately trying to focus on what is being done or said, right? And the automatic processes are where things are happening on an automatic mode. You are not paying extra attention to it. You know that you are doing the task, but it is happening in an automatic fashion. It is not requiring much of your attentional resources. So when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you don't pay much attention to brushing your teeth because it is an automatic process. That is what is being said by this. So there are sensations, memories, thought processes which become the focus of attention, and we may focus attention either through a controlled way or in an automatic way, right, which will lead to actions. So if we are using controlled processes, we are uh, giving more attention to it, we are trying to pay more focus to it, so that those actions will be performed with more attentional resources. However, automatic processes will not require much attentional resources and it would happen on automatically. So here we have an example. It could be anything. So sensations example is being given while driving the car. You may have the following information available. So when we say sensations, you are having sensory information regarding cold. You're feeling cold in the car, right? Then memories. You are thinking about your new study assignment. You're trying to plan it, or you are trying to focus on it, or you are trying to think about it. So you are thinking about another study assignment, which is memory. Then you are watching the street as to what is happening on the street. You are again paying attention to, your again thought processes is working on that street. So all this information is available to us at a particular point of time, and each one of these can be the focus of our attention depending on what is important to us, right? So here, for example, and if you are driving a car, you notice a child running across the street in front of you, you will immediately brake, right? When you will see, your attentional resources will be diverted towards seeing a child running across the street, so you will put an immediate brake. So again, we are perceiving a lot of sensory information, but it is only through attentional processes that we are able to select information that is important to us or significant to us at a particular point of time and what we would want our attention to go to. So, on the basis of what we attend, we are able to execute or perform some actions on the basis of it. Okay. So, yes.
मैडम मेमोरी मेरे को क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है अटेंशन के बाद सेंसेशन के बाद मेमोरी आ रहा है मैडम परसेप्शन होना चाहिए ना वो थोड़ा सा वो पीछे स्लाइड में आप हाँ ये मेमोरी जो है सेंसेशन प्लस मेमोरी होगी तब तो जाके मेरी कोई सेंसेशन और परसेप्शन होगा तब तो हम किसी चीज की मेमोरी बना सकते हैं ना
बनाने की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं इसमें, हम मेमोरी बना नहीं रहे हैं, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि हमारी कोई पास्ट में मेमोरी इज पास्ट, हमने कुछ पास्ट में सीखा है या पास्ट में कुछ किया है या पास्ट का कुछ इवेंट है। मेमोरी तो वही हुई ना, दैट वी हैव एन इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर्ड इन आवर cognitive abilities. So we are at that particular point of time, you're thinking about your new study assignment. So for example, you are studying here at this point of time, you are studying preparing for an exam, right? When you sit for the exam, eventually when you will be thinking about, when you will be sitting there and giving the exam, you you will try to go back to your memory store and try to look for information, right? कि क्या था, and that is on that your attention would be concentrated, your attention would be diverted towards that memory, right? जैसे हमने मान लीजिए हमें कोई चीज रिट्रीव करनी है, तो उसके लिए हमें ध्यान तो लगाना पड़ेगा ना, उसको अटेंशन तो देना पड़ेगा ना। सो इट इज ऑलरेडी जो हमने मेमोरी क्या है, पास्ट इंफॉर्मेशन जो हमने लिया है, इट इज नॉट अबाउट क्रिएटिंग न्यू मेमोरीज हियर, इट इज लाइक what type of information is competing, what type of information can enter our attention at a particular point of time. It could be sensory information, it could be information from our memories, it could be information from our thought processes. So any one of these can be part of our attention. आप उसको अटेंशन देंगे तब आपका परसेप्शन बनेगा. आप ये रिट्रीव कर रहे हैं कि क्या ये हुआ था, क्या ये क्लास में पढ़ाया गया था, एग्जाम के वक्त जब बैठे, तब एमसीक्यूज देखने के बाद यू विल परसीव द you will get to the right answer. You will perceive the question first and then you will get to the right answer. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have in other terminologies that we must focus on. So here we are talking about two terms, which is focus, and a margin. So we have for example, this is my field, this is my park area, right? And I am focusing on a particular person, right? On this field, there's this person, and I am focusing on this. So this is my focus of attention. However, all the other people out here, or grass, or trees, or the field, this whole field, these are irrelevant to me. My focus of attention is only this person who is playing in the park. However, it is not that there's nothing else in the park apart from this person. There are a lot of things. We can see trees, we can see grass, we can see other people, but on this particular point of time, this one person is important to me. So therefore, I am focusing all my attention only at this stimulus, only in this stimulus. This does not mean that I am uh, this does not mean that there not any other information available to us. So it is not that we don't have any other information available to us. So here only one person will be my focus of attention. However, all the other things, all the other irrelevant things would be there on the margin. So that is a margin for me, right? The things that I am dimly aware about, or I am not aware about us, or I am not paying any attention to it, or I am not perceiving it. So that becomes my margin. So if you see, this person is the focus of attention, right? Please hold, please hold. So here everything else is margin except this becomes my focus of attention, right? So in an Another example, when there are a lot of people on the cricket field or any sports field, you focus your attention to one. If you want to understand how he or she is playing, you focus your attention to one person. So that person becomes the focus of attention, and the others are the irrelevant inputs on that particular time, and hence they are the margin. So let us try to understand the types of attention. First, we have voluntary attention, then involuntary attention, and then we have habitual attention. So voluntary attention is that we are putting in our effort. We are putting in our effort to pay attention. Okay, we are voluntarily giving our attention so that we can do a particular task. Involuntary attention is that we do not require any efforts because the stimulus is so strong. Due to the strength of the stimuli, we do not require any effort to focus our attention on that stimulus, right? For example, if you are what happens is, now when I am taking this lecture, when you all come in, so there's a ping sound on my computer screen, and I'm able to hear it. So that is kind of an involuntary attention. So I am not giving voluntary attention to it, but because it is so loud and it is so distinct that I know that somebody is trying to enter the meeting, so it is a kind of involuntary attention that I have when this particular sound is there on the meeting. Then one is habitual attention, which occurs due to our habits and needs, and it again does not require much of our attention. So we don't require much of our attention when we are bathing, when we are brushing our teeth, or when we are closing our doors. So all these type of tasks which we are habituated in doing, it reduces our attention. We do not make any special efforts to focus our attention on that. Now we have to understand certain functions of attention, which we'll do in detail in the subsequent slides. We have to understand these functions of attention, right? First, we have signal detection and vigilance. You have signal detection and vigilance. So you have to understand what is signal detection and vigilance, what is search, what is selective attention, what is divided attention, what is span of attention, fluctuation of attention, distraction in attention, control of attention. These are some terminologies that you must be familiar with when we are talking about attention, right? So we know that it is a signal detection and vigilance task. Vigilance means that we are alert, we are on our toes, and we are trying to detect a particular signal. We are trying to look for a specific object. So this object is the one that is of interest, and we are very vigilant in trying to detect it. Okay, so we are also on the same time, once we are able to detect our stimulus of interest, then we'll take some quick action when we do detect that stimuli. Okay, so that is vigilance. Then we have search, that we are in our active mode, we are searching for something in particular. We are wanting to focus on something, or we are actively looking for something for a particular stimuli. Okay, selective, for example, in search, I'm selectively looking for a particular book, I'm searching that book. Okay, so that is another function of attention. Then we have selective attention. As we have discussed that at any moment, our environment, our stimulus field is bombarded with various types of information that that would be competing to enter into our attention thing. but it is up to us. We choose to pay attention to one of the stimuli and thereby ignore the other stimuli, okay, which are unimportant or irrelevant to us. That is selective attention. So we are constantly trying to select particular stimulus on which attention have to be paid and on which attention have to be withdrawn. So this is a concept of selective attention. Divided attention, we are trying to focus on more than one task at a time, and hence we are dividing our attentional resources on a particular task. So we are switching back and forth between one task and the other task as per the need and demand of the situation. Okay, then we have span of attention, which is how many stimuli or we can notice at a particular time. Okay, that is again span of attention. Then we have fluctuation in attention, which means that our attention fluctuates, that after a particular point of time, it will come back to the same stimuli that we are attending to. So we have one situation that we are attending to, and we have in another situation that we are attending to. So while we were focusing on the first situation, our attention went to focus on another stimuli. फिर उस सेकेंड स्टिमुलाई से अटेंशन हमारा वापस आ गया फर्स्ट स्टिमुलाई पे. So that is known as fluctuation in attention. Our attention is fluctuating between two tasks. Okay, and it's not like our attention stays there. Second task में हमारा attention नहीं रहता है. We are eventually coming back to the first task. Okay, then we have distraction and attention, where we हाँ
Yes,
जी.
yes.
तो ये डिवाइडेड अटेंशन और फ्लक्चुएशन इन अटेंशन दोनों सिमिलर नहीं होंगे?
सी डिवाइडेड अटेंशन में क्या है, हम दो टास्क कर रहे हैं और कॉन्शियसली हम चूज कर रहे हैं कि हमें इन दोनों टास्क पे अटेंशन देना है. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें दोनों टास्क पे अटेंशन नहीं देना है, हमें दोनों टास्क पे अटेंशन देना है. तो हम कभी मान लीजिए एक टास्क की जो डिमांड है वो बढ़ जाती है, तो उस वक्त हमारा अटेंशन रिसोर्स वहां चला जाएगा और दूसरे टाइम पे हमारा अटेंशन रिसोर्स दूसरे टास्क पे आ जाएगा. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज divided attention. However, the other type of attention that we were talking about, it was fluctuation in attention. So for example, you are attending to this class today, right? You would be, आपके साथ क्या होगा कि मान लीजिए आपके घर पे कोई गेस्ट आ गए या कुछ हो गया, तो आपका ध्यान हट जाएगा थोड़ी देर के लिए, पर इवेंचुअली your attention will come back to this task. So that is fluctuation. डिवाइडेड अटेंशन में दोनों टास्क को हमारा अटेंशन जरूर चाहिए, पर हमारा जो अटेंशनल रिसोर्स है वो कभी एक टास्क के प्रति ज्यादा हो जाएगा और कभी दूसरे टास्क के प्रति ज्यादा हो जाएगा. इवेंचुअली बोथ द टास्क, सिंस वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन टू टास्क एट अ टाइम, तो हमारा अटेंशन बढ़ रहा है. फ्लक्चुएशन इन अटेंशन में हम कर तो एक ही काम रहे हैं, हमारा अटेंशन एक ही काम की तरफ होना चाहिए, पर कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शंस की वजह से या फिर कुछ होने की वजह से हमारा ध्यान जो है सेकंड टास्क पे चला जाता है, फिर बाद में फिर इसी टास्क पे आ जाता है. सो दैट इज फ्लक्चुएशन इन अटेंशन. ठीक है?
यस मैम, थैंक यू.
Then we have distraction in attention. How are we able to, when we are focusing on a particular task, how are we distracted? Okay, so whenever we are doing a particular task, we may get distracted by other things also. So for example, if you are attending this class or I am taking this class, we might be, which often happens, that we might get distracted by our phones. Okay, so we are focusing our attention on our phones. However, it is a distraction. We don't need to use our phones at this particular point of time, but we are using it because we have distracted what we were focusing on, हमारा attention वहां पे नहीं बैठ रहा, बल्कि हमारा attention बार बार distract हो रहा है। दो हम एक particular काम में focus करना चाह रहे हैं, पर हमारा ध्यान बार बार दूसरे उसके लिए distract हो रहा है। जब भी पढ़ने बैठते हैं तो टीवी का ध्यान आएगा, ये ध्यान आएगा कि मोबाइल पे क्या देखना था, क्या करना था। सो दैट इज our distraction and attention, that is distracting our attention. Okay, then we have control of attention. That means we are uh, we are giving a lot of attention to controlling our attention. We are trying to control our attention, we are trying to control the way we are trying to focus on a particular task. Okay, we are consciously trying to say that attention, please, हमारे माइंड को हम कह रहे हैं प्लीज इस टास्क पे फोकस कीजिए, इस टास्क पे फोकस कीजिए। That is, we are taking control of our attention. We are trying to control our attention to only focus on a particular task, right? So here we have a signal detection theory, which all of you might be familiar with. Please, any one of you can tell me what is the signal detection theory, if you are aware about it. Yes, anybody? Can you try in answering this question as to what is signal detection? What do you mean by it? What do you mean by signal detection theory? Any one of you can try.
Ma'am, can I try?
Yeah, sure, please.
Ma'am, here we try to focus on few important stimuli by ignoring the other noise and other unimportant stimuli. If I'm not wrong.
Yes, it's okay.
And many of the time we try to I don't know.
Okay. So, however, this is a theory which we'll do in detail in when we'll discuss perception, which would be our upcoming topic. But here we'll discuss it briefly. However, let me tell you that this theory is the most important theory for the psychology exams. It is really, really very important. No matter, so it's important that you understand this concept really nicely, because it is actually really important for the exam, from the exam point of view. You will see a lot of questions from this theory. Okay, so let us discuss it. So here what is happening is कि एक साउंड, एक पर्टिकुलर साउंड या फिर एक पर्टिकुलर स्टिमुलस, ठीक है, it could be any stimulus, a visual stimulus, a haptic stimulus, or whatever kind of a stimulus is there. Signal is usually an audio signal stimulus. So what happens is, मान लीजिए मैं आपको कह रही हूँ कि आपको एक बटन प्रेस करना है. अगर आपको मैं ये जो मेरा ये कर्सर है ये येलो दिखेगा, जब ये मेरा कर्सर आपको येलो दिखेगा तो आपको एक बटन प्रेस करना है. ठीक है, तो मान लीजिए ये बटन आया, एक्चुअली ये बटन येलो कलर का आया और आपने वो बटन प्रेस कर दिया, तो दैट मीन्स यू हैव डिटेक्टेड द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ सिग्नल. ठीक है, यही सिग्नल मैंने बोला था डिटेक्ट करने के लिए और आपने ये डिटेक्ट कर लिया है, तो दैट इज अ हिट. दैट इज द सिग्नल वाज प्रेजेंट एंड यू हिट द बटन. So that is a true positive, right? That there is this dot, that yellow color cursor that you have seen, and you have hit the button that I asked you to. So that is known as hit, which is true positive. Okay, I am again repeating. So when you are able to see, when I tell you that you have to hit a particular button on seeing this yellow cursor on my screen, if you hit the button when actually the yellow cursor is present, then that is known as true positive. You are pressing the button that I told you when the stimulus was actually present. This is one scenario. The second scenario is the misses, right? So for example, again I'm taking the same example. I have this yellow cursor on my screen, but you did not hit the button that I asked you to on seeing the yellow color. That means you have missed it. Though the signal was present, but you were not able to detect the presence of that stimulus. So that is your miss. That means you have missed the stimulus when it was present. Okay? So this is misses. Okay? Then we have another thing, that is absence of a signal, which is called false alarms or correct rejections. Now false alarms में क्या होता है? So now I am presenting you a green color cursor. I am presenting you with a green color cursor, and since I have asked you to press the button only when this yellow color cursor is present, but you hit it when this green cursor was present. So that means though the signal was actually absent, but you have hit the button that I asked you to. So that is a false alarm. जब सिग्नल प्रेजेंट नहीं था, आपने तब जो सिग्नल मैंने आपको बोला कि येलो कर्सर पे आपको बटन प्रेस करना है, पर आपने ग्रीन बटन पे प्रेस कर दिया, तो एक्चुअली येलो कर्सर सिग्नल प्रेजेंट नहीं था, but you still press that button. So that is a false alarm that you are creating. Okay, then you have correct rejections. Fine. So I told you to press the button only when this yellow color cursor was present. So जब green color का cursor आया, आपने बटन नहीं दबाया. ठीक है, so that means you have correctly rejected. The signal was absent and you have correctly rejected that the presence of the signal. Okay, सिग्नल नहीं था और आपने बटन भी प्रेस नहीं किया, तो आपने करेक्टली रिजेक्ट किया उसे. सो दैट इज known as correct rejections. So these are 4 important terms and you must be very thorough with them. Okay, so through this experiment, what the experimenters have tried to do is that they have tried to measure the sensitivity to a target's presence. Okay, so whenever the target stimulus is present and the observer's sensitivity to the presence of that target stimulus is being measured on a signal detection experiment. Okay, so let us try to understand this theory with the help of an example. So we have it is an interactive theory which involves a physical sensation of a stimulus, and cognitive process, which is decision making. That means we have to decide whether to hit the button and when to hit the button. So that is physical sensation of a stimulus and cognitive processes which are involved, which involves decision making. So let us talk about here airport screeners. Whatever the screeners are there on the airport to carry, in which we put our luggage. Okay, so these airport screeners are pre-programmed to detect harmful stimuli, which is box cutter, a knife, or any stimulus that can harm the people or the infrastructure in general. So here, for the airport screener, what would be the presence of the signal and what would be its response, and other and vice versa. So you have a signal which is present, okay, and that means in a luggage a box cutter is present and you hit and the airport screeners detect it hits it that जब ऐसे होता है तो वो बहुत टूम की आवाज आ जाती है उनके स्क्रीनिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट से कि कुछ गड़बड़ है, ठीक है। तो दैट मीन्स उसने डिटेक्ट कर लिया कि एक बॉक्स कटर है जिसको प्री प्रोग्राम में किया हुआ था कि अगर आपको ऐसा कोई ऑब्जेक्ट, ऐसा कुछ ऑब्जेक्ट दिखेगा तो यू हैव टू hit it. You have to detect that signal by beeping. Okay, so the screeners have beeped and they have recognized a box cutter in the luggage. Okay, if it has been able to recognize and it was actually present in the luggage, then it is a hit, right? The second case scenario would be absent. When the signal actually कुछ होता नहीं है, मतलब कि उस लगेज में एक्चुअली कोई बॉक्स कटर नहीं है, तो फिर भी वो टूंडू की साउंड बीप कर देता है. That is known as false alarm. That means the cutter is not actually present in the luggage, but still the screener is able to think, that is able to say that something is wrong with this box, that there is a presence of a box cutter here. So that is a false alarm that the screener has raised. So actually box cutter was not present in the luggage, but still there was an alarm by the airport screener, right? So this would be a false alarm in this case. Then we have another scenario, which is a miss. So here what is being done is that the screener is failing to see the box cutter in the luggage. Okay, the screener is unable to, the box cutter is present in the luggage, but it misses out on detecting it. Okay, so that would be a case of miss. That is actually the signal is present, but it is a miss. Okay, then the fourth case scenario would be correct rejection, that the screener has recognized that there is no box cutter, however, and there is no beep sound. They don't they say that we have not found the box cutter and hence they don't beep. So this is a correct rejection, that is box cutter is not present and there is no beep sound. So this was signal detection theory overall. So have you followed up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us try and understand the next concept, which is vigilance. So vigilance is the person's ability to attend to a field of stimulation over a prolonged period. And the person seeks to detect the appearance of a particular target stimulus of interest. Okay, so vigilance is this. Vigilance is a person's ability to अटेंड टू अ फील्ड ऑफ स्टिमुलेशन, एक आपको फील्ड एरिया दिया गया है और आपको इस एरिया के अंदर कुछ डिटेक्ट करना है, एक टारगेट स्टिमुलस दिया गया है, आपको डिटेक्ट करना है कि वो टारगेट स्टिमुलस उस एरिया में जब भी अपीयर होगा, then you have to take a quick action over it. Okay, so that is implied by vigilance. Vigilance is giving attention and attention for prolonged period of time on a particular field on which we likely we likely feel that the uh, target stimulus will appear. Okay, so the observer has to wait very patiently to detect that stimulus because we don't know when that target stimulus of interest will appear. Okay, but here vigilance is needed when the stimulus occurs rarely, but whenever it occurs, it requires immediate attention whenever it occurs. So you can have an example here that has been mentioned is that of military officers. Now, what do military officers need to do? They need to watch for any attack, for any attack or any you know, any infiltrator that crosses the border, and hence high vigilance is required in that task. So that is one example where we can say that vigilance is required. You must have seen that on the borders, on the both sides, both the armies are there and they're vigilant on the other party's actions. What is the other party trying to do? And if any thing is seen which is something which is uh, bad or which is not uh, an attack kind of a thing or whatever, which we don't want our which threatens our country's security. So for whatever is threatening our country's security, we are watching out for that. Either we are watching out for infiltrators, we are watching out for terrorists, or we are watching out for something else. Okay, or the military is crossing borders, that is we are detecting. In all these cases high vigilance is required. Okay, so this is an example of vigilance. So there was a research study. Another example could be that there was a research study conducted by a few people, an experiment where the experimenters were to detect, you know, the clock, right? They had to detect when this clock this hand this clock's needle clicks twice. Usually it clicks 1 2 3 4 ऐसी चलती है, but they designed an experiment where they had, you know, participants to watch out for when this hand clicked twice. So whenever the hand clicked twice, so participants had to detect this. So again, that task required a lot of vigilance. Okay. This is the experiment that happened. I request you all to go through it once as I have already explained it. So here we have this clock hand moving in continuous steps, and they need to detect the double step. Okay, so the experimenters observed that the performance of the participants deteriorated was deteriorating only after half an hour of observation, right? So participants become less willing to risk reporting false alarms. We don't want to जब क्लॉक ने डबल क्लॉक हैंड ने क्लिक किया ही नहीं है और हम उसको बोल देंगे क्लिक किया है, तो वो फॉल्स अलार्म देने की तरह हुआ। तो उसको कम करने के लिए वो रिस्क कम लेते हैं पार्टिसिपेंट्स, right? Instead, they fail to report the presence of the signal when actually it is when they are unsure that whether they have detected it. Okay, so it is higher rate of misses. That means in this vigilance task there was low risk of reporting false alarms. However, there were high rates of misses. Okay, so we can give training to reduce fatigue and increase vigilance. And for this thing, taking a break really helps when we are engaging in vigilance tasks. Okay. In vigilance tasks, it is said that expectations are expectations regarding where the stimulus will appear. Okay, the stimulus location will affect our response efficiency. Okay, a busy lifeguard or air traffic controller may respond quickly to a signal within a narrow radius. जहाँ पे एक्चुअली सिग्नल को प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए था वो जल्दी से डिटेक्ट हो जाएगा, एज कंपेयर टू अ सिग्नल जो जहाँ एक्सपेक्टेड था वहां ना अपीयर होके कहीं और अपीयर हुआ, कहीं वाइडर रेंज में हुआ, तब उसकी एक्यूरेसी, तब एटीसी की एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोलर की एक्यूरेसी कम हो सकती है. ओके, and even the sudden appearance of the stimulus will capture our attention. Okay, अभी नहीं होना था but suddenly वो appear हो जाता है. Okay, so that will again captures our attention. For example, clock वाले experiment में अगर clock hand एक बार डबल क्लिक दे दिया और फिर उसने दोबारा डबल क्लिक दे दिया, तो it won't, it may capture our attention because it made a sudden appearance कि एक ही बार दोनों बार में डबल क्लिक कर दिया उसने. Okay, so we have a tendency to give attention to the sudden appearance or abrupt onset of the stimulus. Okay, so this happened because we probably, as hunter-gatherer societies, we had to catch the prey, and therefore we had to be very attentive to any sudden appearance of the stimulus in our visual field. Okay, we did not want to lose our prey.